At this point, I'd like to introduce the chairman of our Board of Trustees, Mike Daniello, to the podium. He'll offer remarks on behalf of the board, but also introduce the group that's really our most special guests and the drivers behind this project, the college's Board of Trustees. Mike?
Thank you, Karen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am so pleased to be here to welcome all of you here for the dedication and placing in service of this facility over here, which will serve as the Culinary and Pastry Arts Institute for the college. And I want to introduce to you, as Dr. Stout said, some of our members of our Board of Trustees who dedicate their time, talent, and treasure to help facilitate these types of projects, go from a planning stage through execution by our wonderful president to actually come into fruition and being placed in service. So let me introduce some of them to you. Our board secretary, Trudy Mann, is here. Richard Montalbano, who is here from our Physical Plan Committee and Personnel Committee. Ed Mullen, who makes the trains run on time. He is the chairman of our Physical Plan Committee. Susan Arnhold, who's the chairman of our Curriculum Committee. One of our newest members, Moon An. And our distinguished trustee emeritus, Michael Bittner. You know, one of the responsibilities that the Board of Trustees has that is placed upon them by the Community College Act is to come up with a facilities master plan, which really we sit together as a board with the president, with the administration, and with an architect, and we do planning of what our physical plants need to look like for the next 10 years. That's one of the requirements that we have under the Act. And we take that very, very seriously. And if you look at our two campuses, there's our Bluebell campus, our main or our central campus, you can see the additions that we've done on that project, which is our Advanced Technology Center, redoing Park House Hall, redoing College Hall, so much work up there. On the West Campus, North Hall, our University Center, the Pico building being rehabbed. There's so much that's being done. But today we're especially pleased because we have the opportunity to move in and partner up here with Talmenson Township for this fabulous facility, which allows our students and our county residents who would not otherwise have the opportunity to get a top-notch culinary and pastry arts degree to be able to do that here in Montgomery County. And we are so pleased to be able to do that. So with that, I would just thank you all for being here, and bon appetit.
I also, Vice Chairman Leslie Richards from the County Commissioners is here, and I did not introduce her. She was helping me to make sure I didn't miss anybody, and then I missed her. So please join me in welcoming Commissioner Richards. Among many things, the popularity of television shows like Bravo's Top Chef, the Food Network's Iron Chef, and the Learning Channel's Next Great Baker, on which Montgomery County Community College pastry arts instructor Chad Durkin was a contestant, they have all led to unprecedented demand for culinary education. And what's great about that demand is that the job outlook is also promising. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, job prospects in the culinary arts industry are expected to grow 14% through 2020. We know that a degree from the Culinary Institute at Montgomery County Community College will lead to successful careers and higher wages for our graduates. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Congressman Patrick Meehan to the podium. Congressman Meehan represents Pennsylvania's Legislative District 7, which encompasses both the college's central campus and now the new Culinary Arts Institute. The congressman is a solid supporter of preserving the affordability of community colleges. He understands our focus on access and success, and he's been particularly helpful to the college in supporting our efforts to support veteran students. Please welcome Congressman Meehan to the stage.
Well, good morning, and President Stout, thank you for that very, very kind introduction, and Chairman Mike Agnello and the board, my distinguished colleagues in government service, and so many who are part of this exciting morning. Thank you for the chance to share some of it with you. I enjoyed listening to Karen talk a little bit about this, this coming together today of cable television and food networks. I mean, I admit that there are evenings where I'm sitting there and I'm so, man, that's how they make that. And we'll know we arrive when Bobby Flay shows up and we have a slam down right here in the backyard against the best from the Culinary Institute. But who would have thought the vision that was put in place 5 years ago today, and what a remarkable, remarkable coming together. You know, Karen talked right from the outset. We continue to focus, and just this week the President and I were discussing before the beginning this issue, and it's a very real one, the growing challenge of affordability of college education. And one of the real markers has been the continuing ability of community colleges to deliver quality education that is either a bridge to future pursuit or education unto itself that can help make a big distinction with careers. That's the second issue that's being discussed so much in education today. And once again, this is a representation of something that can make a real difference, looking at the culinary area in which employability, the connection to employability is very, very high. And we often think about, you know, the Susanna Fu kind of restaurant. I know Susanna's on the advisory committee here. When we're all lucky enough to go out and get that special evening out and enjoy a tremendous dinner. But there's so much growing from corporate campuses now that are doing food services on the campus itself to senior living, in which they're seeing the development of people who have to have trained capabilities to deliver certain kinds of you know, menus and other things that are sensitive to the needs of certain populations. And so there's such a growing area, and to be able to train for these jobs of the future is an exciting part. And I just want to close with one other thing, too, that is, I think, often misunderstood when you talk about the quality of product that is put forward by community colleges. And I do it by analogy. My wife, and I read the materials, I didn't attend, but my wife went to a class at the community college on perennial gardening, something that we had to figure out how to do something with some pretty ugly looking space. And 10 years later, it's become just a passion. And it's something that we enjoy doing together and watch grow each year. And you think about cooking and how many people just love the idea of quietly cooking and making some kind of a meal. And so for those who continuing education is just an end unto itself, and something that they will then take and make a difference each and every day in their lives, is another example of how community colleges make a remarkable contribution to our community. And so I congratulate all of the board and President Stout and all of those who not only had this vision, but had the perseverance to see it through. Best of luck, and I will come back when you open up the bakery. Thank you.
In the coming days, we will be celebrating as a nation the 50th anniversary of several milestone events. What silently we're celebrating tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Pennsylvania legislature of the Community College Act that formed Pennsylvania's 14 community colleges. Thankfully, 50 years later, today, we have similar advocates for advancing the community college mission, and prime among them is Senator Bob Mensch, who is leading the call right now for the state to discuss new strategies for the future funding of community colleges in Pennsylvania, so that 50 years from now, we are as strong or maybe stronger than we are today. Please join me in welcoming Senator Bob Mensch to the podium.
Well, good morning. You know, there's so many House members here. I was having a thought sitting here. maybe we should reconvene around 4 o'clock and watch all the traffic on Sunday Turnpike and Turnpike, and we could have a discussion about a comprehensive transportation funding bill. But maybe we'll save that for another day. Today we are here to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the Culinary Institute at the Montgomery County Community College. Congratulations, Dr. Stout, Chairman Iannello, board. This is, let me not forget, you've been mentioned already, but Mark, your vision, Mark Nicoletti, the Philadelphia Suburban Development Corporation, and especially a very often forgotten component in this, the Board of Supervisors, and their vision for what to do with this piece of property and how to maximize the opportunity that this interchange does provide. This is a very collaborative effort, I believe, between the Board of Supervisors, the developer, and the college recognizing an opportunity. And it is indeed a great opportunity for, as the Congressman has said, to begin to train additional culinary experts. I was kidding with the chairman just a bit ago. He said I should come here and take classes. The extent of my cooking is, where is the on button on a microwave? And I'm glad I'm not a bachelor. Thank God I have a wife who is a great cook, because otherwise it would be me and banquet, the frozen food. So I really do envy people that are able to cook or aspire to cook, and it's so much fun when we go out and we do have an opportunity to dine well. Now, I don't know if any of you have had an opportunity yet to see this facility. This is world class. This is really a nice facility inside. It's the kind of place where you're actually going to want to go and study, and you may not want to go home. It's just that nice a facility. So, and I think that adds to the vision too. The innovation that Montgomery County Community College is bringing to education throughout the county. I come from the western part of the county, and sometimes we feel that we're the afterthought on the planning of the county. And congratulations, Community College. You haven't forgotten us out here. You're here with us. And of course, I work with Dr. Stout and a couple of other projects as well in the western part of the county. And it is that kind of innovation, that kind of leadership, that marks the difference between Montgomery County Community College and the other 13 community colleges. They all do a great job. There's no doubt about it. But I think that Montgomery County and Dr. Stout really lead the way. It's my experience and my interfacing to all 14 of the organizations. We are fortunate to have such a education leading organization like Montgomery County Community College. Dr. Stout, board, congratulations. I can't wait for the pastry shop to open either. So.
Thank you, Senator. I'm also pleased to welcome Representative Kate Harper. Representative Harper is also a strong community college advocate. She's a former chair of the House Community College Caucus. She's been a strong supporter of the college's programs that support women business owners and inspiring entrepreneurs. And I know she is pleased to have at least a little part of the college back in her district. At one point, Representative Harper had the central campus in her district, so I know that she's very happy to have a piece of us back in her district. So please join me in welcoming Representative Harper to the podium.
Actually, I get the community college back in the next go-round, so that's a good thing. And I'm here today to celebrate the opening of the Culinary Institute, not because I'm a gourmet, I'm a gourmand. What's the difference, you say? A gourmet knows how to cook. I am not great at cooking, but man, am I good at eating. I really am. So I'm happy to be here, and in that role, I was doing a little reading about what's new in the culinary arts field, and guess what's new? It's something called fusion cooking, or fusion cuisine. And what does that mean? Essentially, it means taking ingredients, spices, and cooking methods from different cultures and mixing them together. And it's a fusion, which is a nuclear term, a hot process, a dynamic process that talks about something different coming out on the other end than what you put in the beginning, not a mere mix. So I think what we have here today is cooking fusion, or fusion cooking, if you want to call it that way. We have the melding of, in a hot dynamic process, people who want to learn the culinary arts and people who need to get a job. And putting the two of those things together is a wonderful thing. And I think the Community College Culinary Arts Institute will be a great success. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Great analogy. Thank you, Representative Harper. We have another one of the college's vision supporters on the stage, Vice Chairman of the Montgomery County Commissioners, Leslie Richards. The college and the county continue to work collaboratively to make sure that the county's investment in the college's mission touches as many Montgomery County residents as can possibly benefit from a post-secondary education and from workforce training. And Commissioner Richards clearly understands the linkage of the college's work to the county's viability. She's been a leading voice on behalf of the college in a number of forums across the county, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome her to the podium this morning. Commissioner Richards.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Just to start off, my kids, as I left this morning, did have to laugh that I was coming here to the Culinary Institute ribbon cutting. Like Senator Mensch, I married well as well, and my husband does all of our cooking. It was something I didn't realize when we first met. I fell in love first, but I was so happy to find out afterwards. I do make some great tacos and spaghetti dinners, but I have a feeling they'll be teaching a lot more important meals here than my regular routines. I will brag a little bit. We did go on a family vacation, and we are big, big reality TV fans. We entered what was known as the Gingerbread House Wars, which was modeled after the Cupcake Wars. And every 10 minutes into the 45-minute competition, they would introduce a new food that you had to incorporate into building something. And that's where my children really saw my talents, because I know how to build a very, very tall gingerbread house. And we did come home with a prize. I can't say that it tasted well, but I was able to use my background that well. But anyway, seriously, this Culinary Institute is so exciting for us here in Montgomery County. Wherever I go, I'm always reminded not only about the great quality education that students get here, but at the cutting edge technology and how it prepares them, and how are they are the first ones hired when they are being interviewed. Just recently, I was at a hospital visiting a friend, and two of the nurses who came into the room have been educated at this community college, and they were excellent. Also, just recently, I was dealing with some computer issues for a company in Montgomery County, and the people, the consultants we were working with had been educated here at the community college, again, at the top of their field. And I know that this Culinary Institute has cutting-edge technology, but will be teaching the newest in culinary education, in techniques, and again, we'll just be graduating chefs and professionals and business people and cooks that will be at the top of the game, of their game, and it will be a true game changer here in Montgomery County. I am not only excited to visit the bake shop here, but excited to see our local restaurants as they start hiring the graduates here from the community college and tasting all of the things that they are making, the new, innovative, and of course the good old soul food things, I'm sure too, that they will be making that make us all feel great. And we are just so excited, and so it's an honor for me to be here this morning. Also on behalf of Commissioners Shapiro and Castor, we love this community college. We love working with everybody here. We love when we can work together with our business community, with our upcoming students, with our volunteers in the community, and just make Montgomery County the great place it is. And we really look forward to seeing what comes out of this institute in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Richards. She gave me a nice segue to talk a little bit about the curriculum and the facility. The curriculum will emphasize hands-on, lab-based learning in a professional kitchen setting. And that will be balanced with some traditional academic courses, but also with some cooperative internship training. When you tour the facility, you'll see a 15,000-foot building that houses 4 state-of-the-art kitchens, including a demo kitchen, each equipped with HD cameras, televisions, and internet access to create an interactive learning environment for our students. Students won't have to huddle around a table to watch an instructor demonstrate a technique. Instead, every student, because of the technology and the design, every student in the house has the best seat in the house. The opening of the Culinary Arts Institute will enhance the capacity of our work in culinary arts. In the past, we had this program, but we were in partnership with one of the high school technology schools, and we only had access to the building at night. This enables us to really create a full-service atmosphere for our students. We will open next week with more than 110 credit students, and we expect enrollment to grow to 350 on this site over the next 5 years. And we have a lot of demand for culinary enthusiast classes, and they will start in October. We already have registrations without doing any marketing. We know there's a lot of demand. You can find out more about those on the tour. But just to give you a quick, you'll learn everything you need to know. How to boil water, which I think Senator Mensch might want to take that course, to making sushi at home, to the art of fresh pastas and sauces, and beyond. And then starting in January, the Culinary Arts Institute will begin offering other hands-on programs and beginning to do some work with professional chef continuing education and education for high school instructors and culinary educators across the region. We can't make a complex initiative like this a success without a lot of strong on-the-ground leadership. So the first person I want to thank and recognize for that on-the-ground leadership is our provost, Dr. Vicky Bastecki-Perez. Vicky, thank you for your leadership. And then I also want to thank our new culinary arts director and chef, Francine Mars, who has just stepped in and really been extraordinary. Our faculty, the faculty in the Culinary Arts Institute, I think some are probably in the building getting ready, or any out here at this point being able to enjoy the kudos. Most are inside. So you'll meet many of them when you go through the tour. And John DePinto, our business manager. And then leading all of that effort is the Dean of Business and Entrepreneurial Initiatives at the college, Phil Needles. And Phil has pulled all of the pieces together and really helped to eliminate any of the on-the-ground barriers that existed so that when students enter the classes on Wednesday, we're ready to go. With that, Dean Needles, please come to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Stout. We're very excited to open next week, and I'm thrilled to think about seeing 110 plus students in that facility, because that's where we try to keep our focus. In addition to all the wonderful points and comments that were made, I think about what it takes to open the doors next week, and it truly is a lot of strong partnerships. We are thrilled to have Chef Mars join us. Chef Mars joined the college having served as the academic director of culinary programs and chef instructor for the International Culinary School at the Art Institute of Phoenix. She also led curriculum for 7 other AI schools across the nation. She has served as an executive chef with several food service institutions, has strong accomplishments in supporting students and in working with community partners. Chef Mars holds an MBA from Argosy University and 3 undergraduate degrees from Johnson & Wales, and is a certified executive chef. I have had the great joy of working with her and the CAI team in the last 8 weeks as a crash course to be ready for students and to welcome the community. So I just want to again welcome Chef Francine Mars and thank you for your efforts to get us ready. Please connect with her this morning. Secondly, by way of partnerships, particularly when we think about students' access and affordability, we've had the great fortune of strong scholarship support from numerous members. I'd like to thank Alma Jacobs for establishing the J. Alexander and Alma Jacobs Scholarship. Joe and Lorraine Tumalo for establishing the Benjamin Tumalo Memorial Scholarship. And Anna John Basic for establishing the Nicholas Basic Scholarship. These are, please, thank you. These are three wonderful, strong, and truly meaningful examples of community support and partnership that will make a difference in the lives of students. Even the smallest amount of any scholarship can really change an educational experience for our students. So thank you very much for those gifts. And when I think about community partnerships, we had the great pleasure of just coming back from Quarry Hill Farms, which is just right up the road. And I think of the work that Sloan Six, Scott Clemens, their son Skylar, and that farm is doing for holistic farming and our integration and partnership opportunities, both educationally and sourcing-wise, to support our local communities. So that's another wonderful example, and we look forward to expanding those. And last, our college partners. As I look across our gathering, I see numerous individuals from all aspects of the college who I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with tirelessly at some points to make sure that we were ready to go for this wonderful initiative. So it truly takes the support of the whole college, and we greatly appreciate the vice presidents and their teams in helping us be ready for success. I'm thrilled because I know in cutting this ribbon and getting underway next week, we're starting a journey that's going to serve students in this community for years to come. And I'm thrilled to be part of the Culinary Arts Institute at Montgomery County Community College. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for your leadership. Phil mentioned a number of partnerships that are so important to making this a success, and I want to go back to the beginning partnership, and that is the public-private, very entrepreneurial partnership between the college and Philadelphia Suburban Development Corporation, which is they are also the developer for this whole town square complex. Mark approached the college several years ago with the idea that maybe this would be a good location for us. And at the same time, our board was looking as part of our facilities master planning process for expansion and reach deeper into the community. In all of our research, we ended up thinking geographically this was a really good location for us. And right off of 476 was also perfect. Mark had the property and came to us with the idea of how about thinking about a Culinary Arts Institute. We tested the concept and everything came together. And Mark, we owe you a lot for your vision and your partnership. And I just want to thank you again for helping to support us as one of our key vision supporters. Please join me in thanking Mark again for his leadership. I'm really pleased to welcome our last speaker to the stage, current Culinary Arts student Tom Sergio. I know you will enjoy his story. I don't want to ruin it with too much of an introduction, so I'm just going to ask Tom to come to the podium. Tom?
Thank you, Dr. Stout. No pressure. It's the third person that said they're really looking forward to my speech today. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As Dr. Stout said, my name is Tom Sergio, and I am currently entering the second year in the Culinary Arts program here at Montgomery County Community College. I've been asked to speak to you today briefly about what has led me on my culinary path and what my goals are for the future. Well, I'm sure you have noticed I'm not your typical sophomore in college. So in order for me to tell you how I got here, I'll need to tell you a little bit about myself. As early as I can remember, I've had two passions. The first passion of mine was typical of a lot of young boys I can imagine. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. I've been told I was born with a baseball in my hand. My entire life revolved around my next game or practice, and as I got older, the dream of playing at the next level became more and more a reality. I had a very good high school career that earned me an opportunity to go to college and continue playing. I attended North Carolina State on a baseball scholarship and had an outstanding career there as well. I was a three-time All-American and broke several school and Atlantic Coast Conference records, and I have since then been inducted into both the ACC Conference and the North Carolina State Baseball Hall of Fame. I was also given the honor to play on the U.S. Olympic team and play for my country. After my senior year in college, I was drafted to play professional baseball by the Texas Rangers. I was 21 years old, and my dream of playing pro ball was now a reality, and I was off to conquer the world and find myself a place in Cooperstown. My pro career was going extremely well, and I was on my way to the big leagues until I suffered a serious leg injury in a AAA game. So here I was, 27 years old, knocking on the door of playing on TV every day and making my fortune in baseball, and one wrong move ended the dream. I hung around and played a couple more years playing through the pain after surgery, but I was never the same player as I was prior to the injury. I decided it was time to retire from baseball and join the real world and start a family. When I returned home, things were very tough for me. Trying to find a career to satisfy me was seemingly impossible. And believe me, I've tried a lot of different jobs. I was a landscaper, I was a salesman, I was a recruiter, I was in the construction and property management industry. None of those jobs were ever able to fill the void I had from playing in front of large crowds and having fun with my teammates every day and night, which ultimately has led me to the second passion of mine that I mentioned earlier. That second passion for me was food. Growing up in an Italian family may have been loud and crazy at times, but no matter what was going on around the house, I can always remember gathering in the kitchen around dinner time. My brother and I would get yelled at for dipping the bread in the gravy or stealing a fresh chicken cutlet hot from the cast iron skillet. It seemed that all the problems and the yelling always seemed to stop when the food was put on the table, and for at least the hour or so we sat at dinner table, we were just a normal family. That love of food has followed me throughout my entire life. No matter where I was or what was happening, I could always find ways to make people happy with food. I would be the guy who ended up on the grill at a friend's party. I would be the one who cooked the food for the tailgates in college. For me, there was no better feeling than to see the smiles and to hear the sounds of joy from my friends as they ate my food. I often was told I should open a restaurant or start a catering company. I worked in several kitchens during my off seasons while playing baseball, and the guys and girls in the kitchens were the closest thing I'd ever experienced to being in the dugout with my teammates. There was something about food in the restaurant life that grabbed a hold of me, and I always knew that I wanted to do something in the food industry, but never knew what or how to do it. Fast forward to last year. I was unemployed and looking for a way to reinvent myself and my life. I was looking into culinary schools, and like most of the students I have spoken to, many of the schools I was seeing had fancy school names and fancy degrees, and most of all, high price tags. The idea of going to culinary school was quickly coming to an end. Then someone said to me, "Hey, I think Montco may have a culinary program, and I'm sure it would be more affordable than those big name schools." So I looked into it, met with the advisors, and did my research and decided I was going to do it. I was going to try to pursue another dream of mine and really learn to cook and try to open a restaurant. I self-admittedly was terrified at the idea of going back to school. I couldn't see myself in a classroom again after 15 years of being out of school. I was scared of how the other students would look at me. I was scared of not being able to keep up in class. But I knew I needed to try this because it was the only thing I really loved other than baseball. Well, after my first class, I was hooked. I found myself excited to go to class every day, and I was learning things about food and the food service industry that I never knew existed. The chefs and instructors I have had here have all been amazing, and you get the sense that everyone involved with the college genuinely cares about you as a person and wants every student to succeed. As a student, I feel as if I have received real-world knowledge about the industry and am being prepared to pursue anything I want to upon graduation. I am now entering my third semester here at Montco, and not only am I excited to continue, but I have decided to not just pursue my associate's degree in culinary arts, but I'm going to also get an associate's in the baking and pastry program as well. I was fortunate enough to be part of the pilot program this past summer here at the new building, and I'm amazed at the facility. The kitchens that we get to work in every day are state-of-the-art, and the school and instructors have done an outstanding job have done an outstanding job of both utilizing the technology and equipment and also teaching the students the old-fashioned way of doing things. The joke is that I've learned two things here in my time. Number one is that there is a tool or piece of kitchen equipment to do anything and make life easier. And number two is that working in these kitchens is probably the last time I will ever see or be able to use this state-of-the-art equipment again. So it's just as important to the chefs that we know how to do without as it is to know how to use all of the fancy equipment safely and efficiently. One thing I want to touch on before letting you all go is that I have also had an amazing experience with all of the students I have come in contact with in my time here. My fears of how the old guy would be looked at were quickly put to rest. There is a pleasant mix of student age and diversity that lends itself to the learning process. We have been able to discuss foods from different cultures and ethnic backgrounds, and on a rare occasion, the younger students even feel like there's something to learn from the old guys and girls. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I made the right decision to choose Montco, and between the school's commitment to provide us with the facility, the instructor's passion for teaching, and the students' willingness to learn, I know that this program will be among the top in the country before long, and I'm excited to be proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. You are certainly a role model for many of our students who also find themselves at a crossroads in their lives when they come to Montgomery County Community College. And I have to say, you're living out many of our childhood dreams. To be a professional baseball player, that some of the faculty know from previous remarks I've made, that was one of my childhood dreams. I thought I would be the first female Baltimore Oriole. I was ready to follow Brooks Robinson. Unfortunately, Manny Machado is doing a good job of that now, if anybody's an Oriole fan. But also being a chef. And your story, I know, really is powerful, and I think resonates with a lot of us. Thank you for having the courage to share it with us. There were a couple of people that I introduced early that I see now, and I want to give a special call out to Senator Stu Greenleaf for joining us today, and just to thank him, and let's give him a round of applause. You know, behind the scenes, near the end of the legislative session in June, Senator Greenleaf made a big difference for community college students when he was able to get the FIA grant program to help fund students who are learning primarily online. Previously, those students did not have full access to FIA grant funds. So from an affordability perspective, that's important for many of our students who are online learners, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you very much. Also, and she may not hear me, but I've seen her in the back wandering around as representative. She does hear me, Representative Madeline Dean, and she has a special guest with her, I think, that she's been, your granddaughter. She wants the tour. She's going ahead for the tour of the building, but thank you, Representative Dean, for joining us as well. There are other people that I do want to make sure that I give a call out to, and they are members of the college's leadership team and their teams who all had really a big influence on making this project a success. This kind of project is a cross-functional project. It's not done in silo thinking at the college. It requires a lot of hands from a lot of departments. And so I want to start with thanking Vice President Tom Freitag and his facilities and maintenance team and security teams who stand and recognize Tom, but also all the members of his team who just day in and day out do an absolute superb job. Vice President Celeste Schwartz and our IT team, you'll see the IT in action when you go on the tour, and you know how strong our IT capacity is here. Vice President Catherine Swanson, again, behind the scenes, her enrollment services, admissions, financial aid, records and registration. They've had to figure out new ways and new processes, new ways of thinking in order to support the enrollment of students at this facility. And also, Vice President Sharon Beals and her marketing and development team, who always are standing off to the side, but they make sure these events are perfectly executed. We're going to pose in a couple of moments for official dedication photos and to enjoy some refreshments. But it wouldn't be right if I didn't channel my inner Julia Child before we conclude today. And just a couple of thoughts from Julia Child. For our students, I hope they'll follow her advice to find something you're passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it. And another thought from Julia about your competition. In France, cooking is a serious art form and a national sport. For those of you who will soon enjoy some of our food and refreshments, a word of caution from Julia. She said, "It's so beautifully arranged on the plate, you know someone's fingers have been all in it." And as you depart today, remember this classic: life itself is the proper binge. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll come on the tour, enjoy refreshments, meet our faculty, learn more about our courses and programs. Thank you for welcoming us to the Tallamensin community. Yeah.